The Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show. Here we go.
What up, thou?
What up, brother?
What's going on? The Big Ragoo.
Wednesday. We're coming up on week 0 in a few more days, so we're going to kick it live. Tonight, we're going to break it down. And how's my big brother doing on the West Coast?
I'm hanging in there, man. You know, it's kind of hot out here. Got my hat a little crooked, but, you know, we'll make it out. But, yeah, I'm doing good today, Big Ragoo. Glad to be on the show. Glad to be back doing the Boss and the Sauce as we know we should have. We kind of missed out a few years, you know, pandemic, all that good stuff. But, you know, we're rocking and rolling now. So trying out the new time right now. So you guys can see us going forward in the season. Every Wednesday night was that 8:30 on the East, 5:30 on the West. So be prepared for that. But I know you guys checked out all of our previews. We had plenty of previews up. If you haven't, go check those out immediately. There's some good stuff in there. We got some great feedback from the people, and appreciate everybody's comment. You know, watch it, comment if you like, you like. If you don't, we got a couple comments saying we didn't know what we was talking about, but you know, the proof is in the pudding around here, so it's no big deal. But
the books off, you know. Break everything out, you know, got the notes going, got this, you know, books here, you know, it's week 0, guys. It's week 0. So we're going to ease our way into this shit.
Exactly. And speaking of easing our way into the stuff, I see no reason why to keep going. I don't have any more announcements for the people. You got any more announcements?
No, just you know, just ready to start, you know, kicking these games around, and no major announcements. You know, just excited to be back. Like I say, it's been a minute between me and you been on camera as far as the Boss and the Sauce goes, and we're looking to keep things going and kick off this 2022 season with a bang.
Hey, the whole season is gonna be a big old bang. That's what I'm talking about. But let's jump on into some picks, man. You know, we did our homework. Everything's, you know, tidied around the house, and we ready to go play now. So fortunately, because of the advances in sports betting, we got lines up already that you can jump on now. You know, I'm pretty sure we're gonna take a look at that too, Big Ragoo. On each pick, I said take a look and see if we can predict which way the line is going to move, up or down, you know, on the over or under, because we're far out from you know, all the bettors coming in with their bets to move it around a little bit. But this is what the bookies got up for us, so we're gonna take what they got up, take a good look at it, and make our best plays, and see what happens in the future. So first up,
pieces, you know, especially with the transfer portal with new coaches, and going to be some interesting looks, you know, from jump, you know, especially with these early week 0 matchups. You know, some of them are going to be, you know, like some of these games are not going to be on the board, obviously, you know, for some of these FBS schools playing these cupcakes. But then, you know, you got matchups like, you know, the ones we're going to talk about tonight, and might have some interesting angles to maybe, you know, play some wagers on.
Absolutely, man. So first up, we got the Nevada. And we got the Nevada and Mexico State game. This is a real interesting one when I capped it down. We did do the preview on Nevada. We didn't get a chance to do the preview on New Mexico State on camera, but, you know, I went and did my homework, of course. But this is an interesting game right now. You want me to jump in on this first, Big Ragoo?
And I'll follow your lead.
So here we got Nevada versus New Mexico State. I don't know how I got a 10.5, but I got a 9 in my notes, and I got a 53.5. So I guess that number up there is bogus, but it's Nevada -9 over under 53.5. Basically got notes on this one. You know, two first year head coaches go at it right here. We got Ken Wilson, so got Jerry Kill, and both teams seem to have QB battles on both sides. Nevada has Nate Cox, who's probably going to be the starter. He's last year's backup. And they also have Oklahoma State transfer Shane Illingworth. So we don't know which one we're going to get out of that. And then also for New Mexico State, they have a four-man battle going over there, but it's a clear leader in Pivia, Diego Pivia. He's a native to New Mexico. Guy did pretty good in the high school and everything around there. So this guy looks like he's going to be the clear starter for New Mexico State in this game. I'm really liking the under 53 and a half in this one. Both offenses need help. Both coaches come from a defensive standpoint, and I really like New Mexico State plus the 9 points for the game. Coach Jerry Keels over there. This is a setup for the Minnesota game, which he plays next against his arch rival Fleck. I mean, you can go look up in some of the, I don't really like slinging dirt, but you can go look up the dirt on some of the comments that he's made about Fleck before and all this. So this is kind of a warm up game for him getting over there. Jerry Keel. He took himself out. The guy suffers from epilepsy. He had an epilepsy seizure on the field before, well, quite a few times they say. So he suffers from some health conditions, and he took himself out. He worked his way back in. I believe he was with what was it, Oregon?
Yeah,
I believe he was with Oregon for a little while. But the guy has a vendetta headed out here. And when we look at Ken Wilson on the other side, he was kind of a mysterious guy, which is it plays good in his favor. They don't really know it in the conference what he's going to jump out and do. But here in the pre games right here, it's not a big difference right here. Both teams don't know much about either team. But basically, at the end of the day, I feel like Ken Wilson kind of fell victim of the transfer portal and lost 8 offensive players going with Jay Norvell over to Colorado State. And he's kind of putting the pieces back together. So I think it's going to take him a little more time. I think the bookies are looking at what Jay Norvell did, Carson Strong and all that stuff last year. Got to be a little biased to some of that stuff to not feel like these teams are at the same starting point right here with first year head coaches. So it's under for me, and it's also Nevada plus the points and a little sprinkle on the money line.
That's probably not a bad look. All things being equal, like you're saying, 2-year first coach. And I believe it was I believe it was the Nevada coach who spent a little bit of time over at Oregon. I think like you were saying, Wilson was
he comes out of Minnesota. Yeah, Jerry Keel comes out of Minnesota.
Correct. He's got some time in the Big Ten. Jerry Keel, like you said, he's got that little chip. Because when he left Minnesota, that's when PJ Fleck came aboard, and he's got some time at Virginia Tech and a lot of time in the Big Ten. So I expect him to to try to play some downhill football early on to try to revamp that whole process. What's going on over there? But for Kill, with New Mexico and New Mexico State, their predictive index I think had them ranked at about 127th, where last year Nevada had like the 20th ranked offense in college football, and they had the number one defense in turnover ratio, which was kind of crazy, when you think about it. So they had a lot of pluses over there at the Wolfpack up at Reno. So and they're going to be. It's going to be a transition year for them too. Like you said, with Wilson coming on board, he's a long time. He's a 20-year assistant over there in Nevada, so he's well rooted in the community, and if he's going to take roots there and kind of keep that same process that Norvell left behind, because Norvell when he left, he took a bunch of players with him, so it's a rebuild in both places. But I think one team was sitting a lot higher and the other team was sitting low. So the team at the bottom's got, definitely more room for improvement. And this, Nevada's going to probably slide a little bit, obviously. But I think on defense, they still have some of the players left, and they're expecting to kind of, more experience on the defensive side than they have left on the offensive side. So, maybe points look good here, per your comments, But and I was thinking maybe they've got some high numbers here. They got like a 53 and a half. You're talking about a 38 to 20, 38-24 type of game, something like that. So that's going to be a I think that's a lot of points for this type of setup here. So I would have to lean, towards the under here a little bit. I would say, 54 points, 20, like I said, 27, 28 points inside, somewhere 28. That's 56. So I don't think either team. I think if anybody, I think maybe Nevada might clip 30, but I don't think New Mexico State's going to get above 24 points here. So it's going to be close either way. But I would lean towards the under. But I would probably the plus the points might look good here. Maybe keep it under 2 scores possibly. But in the past, I think Nevada in the series has got pretty much the edge in this series. I want to say like 14-2 or something. They haven't played a lot up until like 2021. I guess were they in the same conference at one point in time? Because it looks like going back to 2000, 2010, 2009, they played a bunch, years prior.
Yeah, I think at some point they were maybe a part of the WAC
Yeah, that's
or the
probably what
early
it
parts of
was.
the Mountain West
Yeah,
back
but
when
I think they
BYU
own the
was over
series like
there.
14-2 overall. If anybody wants to, but and those numbers were pretty large and differential too by Nevada. But like I say, we're in a different era now, so I would lean towards the under here in this spot.
A couple other notes. So I did my paperwork, and then I did some eye digging as well. So as far as what I see on the internet in regards to Jerry Kill over there at New Mexico State, he's a player coach, and we seen this with the Mountain West Championship winner last year at Utah State. Um, those player coaches, they tend to fire up locker rooms and teams real fast. So all you hear is great things about the coach, and from the players. They're way more excited, and I think that New Mexico State last year they had made some advances as it was. Firing the coach was not really mind boggling, but at the same time they played pretty tough, especially at the beginning of the season. They lost quite a few games by one score and stuff like that. They wasn't as bad as we usually see New Mexico State, so they were already making a little progress. Now Jerry gets there, they're pumped up. He's an advocate of players. That's one of his pet peeves, and one of his things that he has with Fleck is that he's an advocate for the players, man. And I think that they're gonna stand behind him, especially with the energy in the first game. I mean, I know he's got to be doing everything he can do to get the W because he wants to have all the commotion and everything going into the Minnesota game, which they play next. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
he's done it all. He was an AD. He did a lot of recruiting. So to your point, like he's a people person, a players person. So he's been up and down the avenue. All aspects of the college game. So I mean that's probably a good fit for them over there. Because he's a bottom up type of guy. So maybe like you said, he rallies the troops and if they get 3-4 wins and get them out of the bottom of the bottom of the doldrums of college football. This will be a good win. Coming out of the gate for them if they can pull that
absolutely.
off.
Absolutely. Now, what do you think about the line in this one? I could see that 9 definitely going down to maybe 7.5 towards once people get to looking at the game and see 2 first-year head coaches going at it like that. It comes more of a coin flip, and that many points in your pocket starts looking real good. So I think that 9's definitely going to drive down. So you might want to hop on it now if you got the extra bucks to spare. But as far as the total, I'm not sure if it'll move too much from 53.5. I see a lot of the sharps coming in on the under, but I think that the public may, because of if you're not paying attention, you don't know about the Carson Strong, you don't know about some of that stuff. You may think this Nevada team has just as much offense in it as it had when Jay Norvell was there. And Jay Norvell is one of those distinct coaches to where he likes an offense heavy team. So a lot of coaches got to have some defense in there somehow, but he'll fly high on them. So that's where I think the line to move. How about you? What you think the line movements look like on this one?
I probably see it tipping down a little bit. Maybe the total kind of just hovering where it's at. Maybe I can see maybe another point, possibly depending on. I don't think it's going to be one of the heaviest bet games, even though it is a true FBS type game, versus some of the others on board. But And this is this an earlier game or is it a later game? That's the other thing you got to look at too.
I'm not sure what time it is right now, but I know it comes on the 26th. It's one of the first games that we get for college football. So
Yeah.
I think more people will be actually tuning in because it won't be a big card up that day. So we'll get a lot of movement because a lot of bettors are gonna come want to play, to place their bets.
Yeah, I would say probably if it's a later game, I would probably say it'd see some degen action early on. But I mean, if there's any value built in to the number, then I'm sure the sharps will figure that out pretty early.
Yep. Well, there it is, y'all. We got to play on that one for y'all. That's our first play for NCAA football. One of many, 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 many more. But let's keep it rolling. We had a comment in the chat about the North Texas and Utep game. So they have North Texas as the favorite. The over and under is 55, and this game comes on the 22nd, and that's North Texas and Utep. You got notes on that one, Big Ragoo?
North Texas, UTEP. Yeah, let me see what I got here on that game. So yeah, basically, UTEP. Let's see what we got here. Let's go back to So yeah, I got UTEP. UTEP. They're playing this game is being played at UTEP, I believe. And
yes.
As far as the Miners, I say they lost. They're in the rebuild mode. They're trying to get things back on track. They weren't a bad team. Like we bet them. If you remember last year, we had a lot of action back in the Miners. They cashed a lot of tickets for us last year. And the Mean Green, that was the team that it was kind of up and down the board for me. But I mean, the thing is, the big news for North Texas is they get Seth Luttrell this year as a head coach. He's an up and coming coach. A lot of guys are liking this guy, but he's known for cranking up offenses. He's one of those. Excuse me. He's one of those type guys that can kind of get the offense going with his schemes. And North Texas, they've been more hit and miss on the offense. So I think they were talking about their quarterback and quarterback situation. They got a guy named Austin On, which I'm not really familiar with. I read about his accuracy. He's had some accuracy. Putting the ball up and down the field, and they got a transfer from North Carolina, Jace Reuter. So I don't know. I guess they're kind of competing for the job, and then they also they got a former Arizona Wildcat and Memphis Tiger, Grant Gunnell. So this is like his third team. So I'm going to assume maybe he might have the edge to start at quarterback. And the other thing was North Texas, they had a running back, Ragsdale, and he was I guess he was a 1,215 yard, or excuse me, and DeAndre Tony. So they get Ragsdale now to step in. So Tony was a 1,200 yard rusher last year, 13 TDs. So they got to replace him on offense. Defensively speaking, let's see, they allowed a couple 500-yard rushing games, won the Appalachian State. So they need to tighten that up, obviously. And then the passing game, like I was saying, they have some accuracy issues. And Grant Gunnell, yeah. So that's what I was saying. Grant Gunnell was the sophomore. He was a redshirt freshman last year, and then he transferred over to North Texas this year. So he's probably going to get some playing time there. And let's see, and their key game later on, they're saying is going to be against UTSA, which we don't care about that today. And as far as UTEP goes, UTEP had an offense, that was averaging about 25 points a game, right around 400 yards. And they lost their leading receiver, Jacob Cowens, off to Arizona. And their 7 wins in a bowl appearance last year. It was the best season they had since 14. And let's see what else we got on UTEP. Let's see, UTEP turned over the ball 24 times last year and coughed it up 6 times against Boise. So that's something they definitely need to improve upon. But they wound up getting a wide receiver. Tyron Smith is going to be their key player, they say. And the key transfer they got was some kid from JUCO, Santa Barbara, is averaging 21 yards per punt as a wide receivers. He's averaging 17 yards per try. And that's it for UTEP. UTEP. So basically, I think the number on this game, we're looking at a 1 and a half, 55 and a half points is the total. So, I mean, so North Texas, 5 straight regular seasons game to close out the 2017. Okay, so they closed out the season last year over UTEP as the last game. So UTEP is probably going to be looking for a little revenge right here in this spot. So they finished up the season last year with the 2017 loss to UTEP, and they're going to look for a little revenge here. So I didn't do a lot of homework on this particular game, but it's an interstate rival. It's a lower level game, but it should be interesting here to try to figure out what's going on. It's like I say, it's 1.5 and 55. I don't have a lot of look on it, but it wasn't one of my games that I was going to be getting to the window with this season or next week, should I say.
Well, I think this one for me, Big Ragoo. I seen it a couple other different ways, and I might get to the window with this one. I might be a little greedy this year. I might go a little volume and decrease my unit down a little bit and go more value this year. I mean volume on my bets, but Seth Latrell, man, 7th year over here, man. He's did a decent job with North Texas. He's been able to develop the run, had a really tough defense. But his biggest issues this year is that he lost 3 of his top defensive players. So he's going to be replacing some things on the defense where he got his money. He's a kind of a run-first guy, and he does return 4 offensive linemen. So I think they will be able to light the scoreboard up some. And he has a lot of reason being why he needs to do it, because rumors say that he's lowered his buyout value because he may be on the hot seat over here. So
really,
yeah, he might have it a little tough over there. So I don't know how he's going to respond to that. But UTEP, on the other hand, and Dana Dimmel, that's one of my well, he's a 5th-year coach now. Last year I was on him a little more. He did really well. He got this team to their first bowl game in a while, which meant a lot to the fans. I mean, you see how the UTSA fans was jumping up and down for their success. Now these guys, they got people down there just as excited about the whole thing right here. And in this one, I kind of think the wrong team's a little favored. I think the line should be close. I think the wrong team may be favored because this UTEP team, the only downfalls that they really have that they lost from last year is a couple at wideout, which they've been able to piece together a couple things, and a couple at cornerback. But his 6 up front on defense should be more experienced and a lot better up there. So I think the defense may step it up a notch, and I think the offense, they'll survive for sure. Receivers nowadays kind of come a dime a dozen. I think that you can get a receiver out there to catch the ball. You get a couple of them out there to catch the ball. So I think everybody's bought in on this one. Both return quarterbacks from last year. Both have decent returners. North Texas returned 8 on offense, 5 on defense. UTEP returned 7 on offense, 8 on defense. But I think that it's a revenge spot for UTEP. They're going to be at home. It's a Texas thing. It may be one of those things where the home team wins every time. So I'm going to lean on the home team side, and I like UTEP, basically money line. But I also like the over in this one because when you break it all down, basically we got 2 experienced offenses that we know could put points on the board, 2 good offensive line, which always helps out with scoring, 2 recurring quarterbacks, which also they has a room for improvement. They could pick up right where they left off. And like I said, North Texas will run well, and UTEP will pass well despite losing a few receivers. As far as the defense in the secondary, that might be their weak spot. And North Texas quarterback might be able to move he has moved the ball down the middle of the field a few times during the season, although they're like a run first. He can't hit them over the middle. But my eye test, the overall excitement is at UTEP. I mean, they're doing cartwheels and flips from the fans, the staff, the players, and everything. And it makes a lot of sense. Dana Demo, he's come. Demo. I'm the worst pronunciation person, but he's come a long way, and they're saying that his method is a little mixture of JUCO players with a couple transfers, and it's been working with him. He's right on point with where he's supposed to be as a fifth-year coach as far as his depth and his players, his recruiting, and all that stuff. So I'm gonna lean on the team on the side of the team that I think has a better edge, which is gonna be Utep. I'm sorry.
Utep. Yeah, I mean that score, like I said, 2017 last year, and little revenge factor here for them. Just for the most part. And like I said, we backed them pretty heavily last year in a lot of spots. So it's probably a good look going forward. Like I say, I didn't do my homework on this one. I didn't get into depth on this particular one, but it makes a lot of sense. And like I said, they're hanging a 55, so they're expecting some points here. So, and it's probably going to be a last possession type of game, And like you said, with revenge on their mind, probably looks like a good little spot here.
Yeah, so I like that one right there. As far as the line movement on that one, I'm not sure. I think if anything, the line might go further away from UTEP because a lot of people made money with the Mean Green last year too, because they had some exciting games too. So it might move. For some reason, the books are making it look like they're the more experienced, better team, and the people are probably going to eat up the same thing. And I think, like you said, you've seen the one. And I did this line quite a few days ago. So you said it's already 1.5 and 55.5. So
yeah,
we don't really catch a lot of twos nowhere. So it'll probably sit on 1.5.
Yeah, it's been bouncing around 1.5 to 1, back to 1.5, and same thing with the total. Total is 55.5, 56, 55, 54.5, 55. So yeah, there's money jumping back and forth. It's probably and this game is on 9:00. 9:00 on the 27th. The other game, like you said, the first game we talked about, they don't have a time determined yet for that one in the Nevada game, but this game's at 9:00 p.m.
Yeah, that was a difficult thing. Is some of these times are not determined. Kind of messes up your cap on weather or whatever. But it's the hot months anyway, so it's either going to be hot or going to be hotter. But that's basically it on that one. Let's jump into another one. You got any last last comments on that one?
Nah. Nope, nothing. All you on that one, my man.
Let's jump into this one. I'm gonna save some of these other ones for last. This one's a little lackluster, and I couldn't really find a spot on this one. It's in Hawaii. I mean, I would lean Hawaii. Vanderbilt has a new coach. Hawaii has a new coach.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Chang is gonna bring back the gun and the run and all that good stuff. So he's expected to score a lot of points. I mean, it might be when all said is done, I usually take the over in the Hawaii game. That worked for years until they had Ty Graham over there because Ty Graham started playing a little.
He tried to change it up a little bit though. That's what he tried to do.
I think Hawaii wants to go back to that. I mean, what's wrong with the forte of being the team that plays in the middle of the night and runs the score up? But
yeah, that's right.
But they, Tommy, he was a quarterback there, so I know he's gonna go right back to the well with that. So I want to lean Hawaii. I don't understand why Vanderbilt is a 7-point favorite. I mean, they're the bottom of the SEC and they're traveling to Hawaii. All those kind of things is difficult. So I would lean towards taking that 7 with Hawaii, but I don't have no true edge on either one, to tell you the truth. But when I get to situations like this where I don't really have an edge, then I'm gonna lean on what we might call our Bibles. We all got our own little Bible of systematic plays and stuff that we do. And in this one, I'm definitely looking at an over 55. That's kind of a low hanging number for Hawaii if they really go back to being that team. If they go back to being that team that Tommy was when he was there, those numbers are going to be 61, 62, and above for the rest of the season, especially if they play late night. So I don't know if we got a time on that one either. Preferably is 1 a.m. here, because they're behind us, so they way back there. So
it'll be at 10:30 our time, so it'd be 8:30. It'd be 7:30 your time actually. So
which is actually an evening game for them. I think they're like 6 hours behind us or something.
Yeah.
But
usually that's a midnight game. 11
Yeah. So
o'clock, midnight. That's pretty close though for a first out of the gate type of game, early on in the season. But yeah, we previewed both of these teams. We
we
did
did.
touch the SEC. We talked about the Mountain West, and yeah, we talked about Chang, being the new coach coming in there, and him incorporating, the Wazoo coach, coming in to run the offense for them, and there's question marks at quarterback. I think Vanderbilt's deal is a little bit different. They're just now, surprisingly enough, when we talked about Vandy, we said they had a pretty decent recruiting year. So I guess this guy, the new coach, is a pretty decent recruiter. What he has to work with, and like you said, a bottom tier SEC team. Does that mean that an SEC team just going to walk in Hawaii and beat up on Hawaii? I don't think so. Right off the get. Even though they're going to try to go in there and handle business, they I think they opened up against East Tennessee last year, East Tennessee State or whatever the team was, and they got beat pretty handily. Yeah, East Tennessee
Yeah.
State, that's what it was. They got beat by East Tennessee State last year. So here we are again, but they're playing FBS in Hawaii. But they are going to be disciplined. They're just this is a team that they can barely score 17 points a game. They're like very, very bottom tier type team,
Right.
and I don't know if we're going to see an over right away, because I think what they're going to try to do is just go in there and just run a very vanilla offense, just to kind of start out. I mean, they have decent running backs. They always had pretty good backs. Quarterback play could be suspect, but and defensively, that's where they usually pretty. If they have a shining moment, it's usually on defense, but not the past couple of years for Vandy. They've been towards the bottom of the barrel. Not in conference for sure, but they've probably been like bottom third overall. So they're just gonna have to get a lot of consistency. They ran the ball for over 200 yards 3 times last year, and that pretty much tells the story for them. They do get around 3.5, a little better than 3.5 yards per carry, which isn't going to cut it. But I think against Hawaii, a new Hawaii, setup, that they're going to focus on the run there. So if anything, I would probably lean towards an under in this spot. I think they got the number. It opened up at 55 and 6.5, which is still sitting at 6.5, and the numbers ticked down a little bit to 54.5. So I guess some of the guys are thinking the way I'm thinking on the total as far as that goes. But like I say, I see two contradicting offenses here to start off. I think we're going to see a lot of fun and gun, like you said, with Hawaii to kind of experiment with this defense coming in, and you're going to see more of a ground and pound type of game out of Vanderbilt to try to kind of wear Hawaii down early. Not early, but late. We'll see who stays up and drinks the Mai Tais after the game.
Yeah, we got some great comments in the chat too. Our guy Big Truck 211 says Hawaii QB has no start. Yeah, he's a transfer, but he was a transfer from being a backup. So I don't know exactly how that's gonna work, but it's college is a different sport than NFL. You can't just count kids out. Every star came from under some rock, so you never know how that's gonna evolve. Having nothing to go by may be better than having something to go by, because when you have something to go by, it's more predictable. But having nothing to go by is hard to predict. But also, our guy Mike M, he totally agrees with you on the underside, and I'm on the other side of that one. He says maybe first half under both sides, and he also says that he said I was thinking that the Vandy's coach, with Vandy's new coach, this is a good Vandy first half under. Hawaii trip for those kids seems like a good spot. So yeah, those smart kids, they're gonna be out there with their cameras, looky-looing, and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm gonna be a little contrarian this one. That's just what I do. Keep following our shows, you'll figure it out. But I think I have a slight chance in there too. But
it's like you say, it's week 0. We'll see. I mean, we thinking physicality wise, because they're from the SEC, but like I say, East Tennessee last year, so it's a different ball. It's a different scenario this year. Every year is different, but some things history seems to repeat itself. unless you do things differently. And we have both teams are going to be doing something different this year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
There you go. So put us down on both sides of the total, and don't put me down on the side because I don't even want to play with Hawaii right there. So keep us off the sides. We'll only be on the total in this one. You said it's already ticking down a little bit. So as far as
Yeah,
line
just a
movement,
point. I mean, from the open.
I'll be more happy the more they go down, and then maybe more. More people will probably think like me after they see this show, and they'll go back up.
There you go.
Yeah, but let's move on into to the next one, man. This one right here, I think I got these things. Other than Nevada and New Mexico State, I think it's going to be a great game to start everything off. If I had to rank the rest of the games, I think we're in a good order because I would definitely go to the North Texas UTEP, Hawaii Vanderbilt, and now we're gonna go to Illinois and Wyoming. And this is another game right here. I think that has a lot of recency bias. Um, Wyoming, if you go back and check our check our previews, right? Wyoming's been raped of the portal, and for good reason because they have great, tough players on their team, and they're all over the states now. And my man Craig over there, man, hats off to him. And I hope you put everything back together the best you can. But he didn't get a lot of kids hanging around. He's got to get a new quarterback. He's got to get a new running back and some more stuff. But on the other side, on the Illinois side with Belima, this guy, he's taking the right steps towards being where you want to be at this point of his career, and he's only in his second year right here. His first year, I wouldn't call it a bust, but he was in a lot of games. But he's kind of surprised to the conference too. So he had that on him, but now they're going to be on him a little bit more. But bottom line is he's really a quality coach. I think Boyle might be outclassed athlete wise and outcoached in this one, and I think Illinois covers that 10.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams are going to be well coached. Number one, okay. I think Bowles' team probably had a little bit got hit a little harder as far as the transfer portal goes. Trying to revamp and kind of get, I wouldn't say quality players on the team, but probably just familiarity, coaching wise, that type of stuff. And you're right about Belima. They averaged about 300. They were real low scoring. I think they're like 10th or 11th in the Big Ten scoring wise, like around 20 points. And that whole division, we've seen a lot of teams like Iowa, 24 points a game. So that's just the MO if you're not Ohio State or maybe Michigan for scoring points in the Big Ten. So even so, it might be a couple points lower. They were still able to compete, like you said, in a lot of games. And I think we'll see more of the same here. I think we're going to see two offenses that not they're going to struggle, but they might have issues putting points up. They might get some yardage, some tough plays. So this is going to be a smash mouth type football game here. This is an old school, leather helmet type football. You're going to see out of both of these teams here. And like I say, not because they're going to be a lack of talent. It's going to be some transition here. And then, just because of the way Belima plays football and then goes about his game, it's just going to naturally progress into a more of a Big Ten type game versus a Mountain West game. Now, we did say in our previews that the Mountain West, there's a lot of good defenses in the Mountain West, and some of the tops, we talked about Nevada, talked about San Diego State, those type defenses, and they fall right in line with that. So I really love the under in this game. This is one I'm going to smash early because I got a feeling it's going to go down. It's sitting right now, I think about, and I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing the under heavily in this particular spot. Matter of fact, when I hang up the phone with you tonight, I'm running to the window and hitting the under.
There you go. I like it. I might have to run by the under specialist who makes unders great again, Noli Nolan, and see if we could get his endorsement on that one as well. But I like the under look too. I'm just only thing that I really don't like about the under is it's a really low under really early in the season, and then you got missed fumble snaps, return kicks, all that stuff is live in these type of games. So this year I want to play with that. Last year I would have probably took the under right here because you got a depleted offense in Wyoming. Wyoming's offense is a serious rebuild. They only got four back on offense, and Coach Craig, he's not in the press conference. He's not very excited about what he got going on right now. It's not like his seat is in trouble or anything like that. It's just, I'm probably deep down inside, he probably is feeling some kind of way about losing the athletes. I mean, you train these athletes, you recruit these athletes, you get them from one level to the next level, and then as soon as they show a shining light, just leave your team and go somewhere else when you should have got them back the following year. You got to feel some kind of way inside about that,
Yeah,
man.
it's like a launching pad. Like he's developing talent for other schools just for them to
Yeah.
come in there and take it away.
That's the same thing Nick Saban was saying about the coaches that
Yeah.
he's developing. He said, he not having an open campus no more where people could just come and go as they please. And if you think about it, look at all the coaches. Every time he gets in a situation, he's pretty much coaching against somebody's that he brought up in the whole thing. So, yeah, that's a tough one. Another exciting factor about Illinois is new offensive coordinator Barry Looney. So he's going to be switching the offense up a little bit, and they get transfer quarterback Tommy DeVito from
Yeah.
Syracuse. This
Syracuse,
guy's
yeah.
a playmaker.
Yeah,
I
he is.
watched him in the spring game. I mean, despite what happens as far as Illinois' offensive line, if they could, cover for him or not, he's a playmaker. He'll roll out, he'll step up, he'll run the ball. So I like that. A good blowout victory would be tremendous for Belima walking into this season right here in his second season going in here. So I think that it may be a low scoring game, maybe 24-10 or something like that. But I think they do get over the hump as far as the line.
I'm laughing at Mike M's comment. He says, as a Syracuse fan, it was a mutual separation.
yeah,
I remember when DeVito came in off the bench for one game. I forget who the quarterback was that year, but anyways, he was very serviceable. He's just young, he's green, but yeah, he's got some tools. It's probably a good fit for him where he's at over there too. Let's not forget about another guy that would come from Wyoming playing for the Buffalo Bills right now, Josh Allen. I don't think he's
Josh
his
Allen,
level
yeah.
type, but he's a gamer for sure.
Yeah, and but a note on that, Syracuse, they switched over offenses recently too. So, he might have been caught up in the recruiting with one coach, the next coach, they change out the offense, or maybe he didn't fit well in Syracuse, like you said. But he might have found him a home over here in Illinois. I mean, he's still playing top level competition. It's a seamless move, I think. But
Yeah.
that's my play. I don't. I'm staying away from the total, but I really don't like taking -10 favorites, but I think in this spot, I think and early in the season we get a lot of blowouts in college football, so I think that Illinois -10 is a good spot.
Yeah, Wyoming's one of those tricky teams when they get out. Usually at home, like you said, they're real tough under games at home. Going on the road, they're playing in Champaign, right? I guess playing this game
Yeah.
in Illinois. It's a
Oh,
4 o'clock start.
no. Is this the one? No, this is not it. Yeah. They play this in Illinois, but
Yeah,
it's our
this
next
one's at
game.
Illinois, I believe. Yeah, that's why they're 10 points. But it's a lot. It's a lot of wood lumber, a lot of lumber delays we say in the business. But we shall see.
We shall see. Now let's go into this next game because this next game, this one's getting played out of the country in Ireland. It's Nebraska and Northwestern right here. It's a conference battle. It's being played first game of the season out of the country. First out of the country trip for both teams. Now, I just got to go into football 101 off top that it's all about preparation in college football with these kids. You travel them way into Ireland. Coaching is very important. Coaching staff and everything, preparation is very important in this game. With that in respect, it really could be anybody's game.
Mm.
What you think about it?
Yeah, a lot of unfamiliar scenarios here. All the way around. Um, they got to go like over 4,000 miles. I guess in reality, these teams are like about 400 miles apart, but now they got to travel 4,000 to play each other. But it's interesting. There's some coaches that are on the hot seat here. You got Frost, who got another year extended. Which I was surprised to see that. After he's had his struggles at Nebraska. They bring in a new offensive coordinator from Pitt, who kind of had Kenny Pickett's mentor over there. So they're going to try to maybe shake things up because he's going to want to pass a lot to try to change things up for the Nebraska offense, which we're used to seeing Adrian Martinez all these years in Nebraska tucking the ball away, rushing for 200 yards and scoring a bunch of touchdowns. So we're not going to get that, I don't think, right here. And on the Nebraska side, I think we're going to see more of a passing game. But you talk about the change of venue. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a little different. Maybe some room for distractions. But like you said, it's going to be all about the coaching. Kind of bringing reining the kids in to keep them on point. And I tell you the truth, I have to give a big coaching angle to Northwestern in that spot because I think Fitzgerald is the disciplinarian. His teams, even though Northwestern was towards the bottom of the hill on the Big Ten, he's been rarely does he have two losing seasons back to back. He's always kind of sprinkled a loss with a win. As a matter of fact, I think you got to go back to 2013 and 14 where he had two straight 5-7 seasons. It's the only second time in 16 years he's been there that he's had losing seasons. And they are playing this game in Ireland, correct?
Yes.
And this guy's last name is Fitzpatrick, so I'm sure he's going to look up some family members while he's over there. Maybe have a little luck of the Irish, not to make fun of your school, the Notre Dame. But this is a game they were supposed to play during the pandemic year, I think, and they just now getting around to playing it. So, this is going to be a tough spot for to keep these teams on the straight and narrow. But I know when Northwestern is getting some points here, and and I kind of like them. I think Fitzpatrick he doesn't have a lot to work with the offense. I think probably going to give the offense edge to Nebraska, even though it's a first year OC, and with the portal bringing some new talent in, they'll probably be okay there. But like I say, Frost on the hot seat, Fitzpatrick in Ireland, disciplinarian team. With what he's got on defense, I think the defense is pretty stout. It's going to step back up here. They had an off year. They were expecting big things at their defense, and when Northwestern plays their type of football, it is on the defensive side with the game manager on the offense. So I think the strange venue. I think more things can go wrong for Nebraska versus Fitzpatrick and Northwestern. I think they keep things simple. I think they keep it close, and I like the points, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of money on the money line with Northwestern here.
I like it, man. Shout out to our guy Justin tapping in from Germany. Y'all better believe the boss and the sauce. We've been going for a little while, but they know who we are. Okay, they know who we are. But shout out to him for stepping in here. We got our guy Picks from Dave. He's in the house. He says this game is under City. Yeah, I got it marked down as a
200. If you like Northwestern, I think it correlates Northwestern and under. If you like the under, you got to lean Northwestern and vice versa.
We got the under guy himself in here. Noli knows. You just missed us, Noli. We needed your stamp of approval on the 44 that Big Ragoo's going to lay as soon as we get off the show. So if you got anything on that Wyoming game, let us know how you feel in the chat. Let us know how you feel in the chat. But in this one right here, I totally agree with you. I think here we go again with the bookies and their bias. And that's what you're looking. The first 3 weeks of college football, you're looking for everything that's biased. There's so many teams for the bookie to cap. First thing they're gonna do is gonna say what happened last year. So what happened last year in this one? It was what, 56-6? It was 56-7 last year. Now Northwestern and Fitzpatrick, they be on this year, off that year, on this year, off that year. And last year definitely was down to
Yeah.
injuries. He got a lot of players coming back from injuries this year. He's getting, I believe he's getting a returning quarterback. And Nebraska, on the other hand, they split the job between a transfer from Texas and a transfer from Florida State. So
Yeah.
they still got questions at the quarterback spot, but Nebraska gets 7 back on offense, and 5 back on defense, and Northwestern gets 9 back on offense and 5 back on defense. So I think it's a good chance right here that this is kind of like as um, not so much as Northwestern beating the line or anything like that, but basically just beating the bookies right here. I think they capped this wrong. -12.
Yeah. Too
I
many
don't even
points.
see. I mean, if Scott Frost have a bad season this year, he's on the hot seat. He might get fired before the season is over. These
Yeah.
people in Nebraska, they are dying to get the Cornhuskers back on the map. And he showed little spots last year where I think last year he was a little more enthusiastic about winning than the players. And I think that was the big problem. I think he was a little more deep into it than the players. So hopefully, this year that kind of balances out. But sometimes it's just not mixing, and that's kind of what it looked like was going on here in Nebraska. Thank God they play in a decent conference where they could put up, they could beat Michigan or they could beat a big name and still get a fair season bowl game and all that. But in this spot right here, I think Northwestern shakes them up. Maybe not on the money line, but definitely I'll take them plus the 12 points.
Yeah, I like the money line because if you like the dog, you always got to sprinkle a little something here. 12 points in college is a lot. It's not like NFL type numbers, all right. But 2 scores can happen very easily in college, because college is such a vulnerable game. But you take them out of their surroundings they're used to be playing, and like I said, you got a totally new offense coming on board with Nebraska. Listen, Frost has run out of all the resources not to get fired. All the changes he's had, this, that, and the other. Fitzgerald is a rock in Chicago there. With Northwestern, and I don't know. His coaching style suits the venue for me better. And 12 points is a lot of points. And like you said, if you like Northwestern, you gotta like the other. I might be wrong. Maybe Whipple comes in, from Pitt and lights the scoreboard up with the Texas quarterback. And I think Brock Purdy's brother, I think he's the backup, the kid from FSU. He was backing up to Travis last year up in Tallahassee. So we'll see if he gets the offense going early. If he does, then hey, he'll have a game. If not, then it's going to be a long day for Nebraska and a long plane ride home.
Yeah, long plane ride home. But I mean, Big Ragoo, we only had 5 games. We've been on here for 52 minutes. But that's where we at with it. I think I was a little rough today, but it's okay.
Yeah, me too.
We're gonna be on here.
Like I said, we're dusting the books off and getting our game back on. We're gonna crawl into it, and then this time in a couple weeks we'll be experts again.
Absolutely. But this year, I want a little more interactive from our crowd that shows up. Shout out to Picks from Dave, Mike M, Justin from Germany, Itch Snizzle, Teece showed up with us, Dutch showed up with us. I want more from you guys. Hit us up in the comments, hit us up in the DM, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what games you want to hear us cap. Give us some feedback. Let us know what's going on because we definitely want to interact with y'all. We want to come to this show like we having a hangout at the house and some barbecue on the grill.
Hey, listen, we'll give you a solid hour like every Wednesday, right? Solid hour. Maybe stretch it to 90 minutes, whatever. And maybe we go over like top 10 of the week, or any suggestion you guys put like in the chat or the DM or on Twitter. Say, hey man, we want to see you guys do this, or then maybe we even pop you guys on as a guest once in a while too.
Absolutely, man. So I don't know. That's it from there, Big Ragoo. I think we did the five games. That'll get some money in y'all pocket for the first week, and then y'all can come back and see us.
Once you give us a recap what you're going to play, and I'll recap what I'm going to play for the week 0 as of tonight.
So first off, I'm liking Utep on the money line versus North Texas. It's only a 1-point spread. I lean over 55 in that one as well. The 55 might be a little more juicier than taking UTEP, but I like both. I'm gonna take them both. And then in this Nebraska game right here, we already said we're taking Northwestern plus the points. Then we're gonna go to Illinois to cover the 10 points against Wyoming. And then I also have one of my favorites right here, which is gonna be New Mexico State plus the 9 points and the under 53 and a half
I might
on
have to
that
tell you on
game.
that New Mexico State because you seem awful confident with that play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those ones I kind of got a feeling. Maybe I don't think I'm really biased to a New Mexico State team, but I know that I end up watching them. I've seen them in person. I even end up watching them further on in the season, and they had quite a few games that they only lost by a few points. They showed a lot of signs of improvement, and even with losing the coaches, a lot of those guys didn't hit the portal, and I just got a lot of love for Jerry Kill, guy that's coming back. There's millions of people that suffer from epilepsy and all other type of situation, and he's gonna be the spokesperson out there that's showing y'all. Even if he got to have a seizure on the field, he's still in it to win it. So I like that. I like that everybody's standing behind that. I think that energy is gonna get him over the hump.
Yeah.
And that Minnesota game sitting right behind it, it's kind of conspiracy theory, but it's just right there. And
You
I
don't
like
think
that
they're
part
looking
too.
past that game just a little bit to get to Minnesota?
We back in the day, teams looking past teams was a thing, but I haven't really seen teams look past teams, and I haven't that rarely happens. Maybe once or twice in the season, a
Yeah.
team
Not
might
the
do it
first game out of the
nowadays.
gate either. They're
Nah, but
focused. They're ready, prepping for
back in
this.
the day, it used to happen a lot. Like I
Yeah.
mean, it was always the top and then the bottom. It wasn't no middle. So
Yeah.
people look past some of those bottom teams and they got them, but not so much nowadays. When you got some of the smaller conferences like CUSA, Mountain West, you got them guys, and then that few years back that UCF team that went undefeated, man, they showed you that there's quality athletes on all levels. So, I don't really look for that look past thing, but I'm looking more into it as he feel like if I put most of my energy in this game to get the W, I can use less energy and still get the W in the next game that I really want.
Yeah. Well, everybody wants to win out of the gate. That's number one, especially like you said, in conference type game. Next door neighbors, they got bragging rights. They want to get it. They've been a doormat in that series for a few years now. So they want to get off the schneid and get rolling. Let's get it rolling. But I got a couple plays. The only two plays I'm going to tell you on that New Mexico, and I'm definitely smashing the under on the Wyoming Illinois game because, like I said, I think the open. I don't know how accurate this open I'm looking at. I'm looking at a line here that says it was 46 and it's down to 44. So I'm not
Ooh.
I'm not gonna I'm still comfortable laying up to like 43, 42. I wouldn't go no lower than 42, but 40 between 42 and 44, I'm good. I'm good. I think we see maybe like 3 touchdowns and a few field goals. That's about it in that one. Unless the Fumblerooski comes into play and you get a late over cover or some shit like that. But
Yeah.
and then I'm definitely taking Northwestern in that Irish game because Fitzpatrick and the Irish.
I
Come on,
like
man.
that.
Let's go.
I
Let's
like
go,
that angle.
baby.
I like that
Let's
angle.
go. And a little sprinkle on the money line with that one too. 3 plays.
There you go, man. So y'all had it right here. Like I said, DM us, comment, hit us up on Twitter. If you got my number, call me, and we'll talk about what's going down. We're gonna put these out this week, and we're gonna move on over to the next week. We're not gonna get too far ahead of ourselves, but we got a bunch of teams that not playing on 0 week, and they're gonna play on week number 1. So we already got lines on some of those. We're gonna step into some of those, put some more out there, and before you know it, it'll be August 26th, and we'll be live putting it on right here on Who-Bangin Sports, man. So y'all tap in with us, man. We got some great comments from my man Justin. We appreciate you from coming and hanging out. He says he's hanging out with us for the season. We had quite a few viewers the whole time in here, so I don't know who watching this. We used to say we always had 9 million fans, but not much since we dusted off the books. But
Yeah,
that's
shout
it
out
for
to the
me.
chat shout out to the guys that follow us. Tell a friend because we got over 1,000 followers now. If you tell one person and they follow us, guess what? We'll have 2,000.
Bam, that's the next
On our
goal,
way.
2,000. So that's it for us, man. We're going to get out of here. Y'all stay safe. Come back and see us. I think we can get back here next Wednesday. You want to get back here next Wednesday with the
let's
week
do it
1
again.
picks?
Let's
Hit
do it
us.
again
We're
next
going to get back here with at least 5 picks next Wednesday. I think the 5:30 spot might give us a little more time to finish off what I got going on, and it's supper time by you. So we're going to go with the 5:30 spot Wednesdays. Meet us back here, man. We're going to have some fun. Make sure you leave those comments. We out. The Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show.
Boss and the Sauce Show. Here we go.